This is Optimal Health Daily, episode 1714, Lifting Heavy for Beginners and How to Determine the Proper Weight for You by Lea Genders of leagendersfitness.com. And I'm your host and narrator, Dr. Neil Malik. Hey there, happy middle of the week Wednesday. May the 4th be with you. And welcome back to Optimal Health Daily, where I simply read to you from the best health and fitness blogs for free. Then on Fridays, I do something a little different. That's when I answer your questions. You can send me a question by going to oldpodcast.com/ask or just send an email to health@oldpodcast.com. Now, today is Wednesday, and like I do every Wednesday, I'd like to share a bit of inspiration with you. And in honor of May the 4th, I thought I would share a quote from the wise Master Yoda. Quote, "Named must your fear be, before banish it you can." Yoda. Now, I thought about doing the voice and the imitation, but I thought that would just sound terrible. I tried to practice it, and it didn't come out right. And I don't think I got his rhythm just right either, but hopefully you got the idea. All right, back to today's topic. Today's article is actually a perfect addition to what I was talking about yesterday. At the end of yesterday's episode, during my commentary, I talked about those that are just jumping into resistance training. So today's article basically continues with that theme. All right, and with that, let's get right to today's post and start optimizing your life. Lifting Heavy for Beginners and How to Determine the Proper Weight for You by Lea Genders of leagendersfitness.com. It seems since the influx of CrossFit, everyone talks about lifting heavy, but no one really explains what that means. Obviously, what feels heavy to one person might be very easy for another, and vice versa. Lifting heavy does not mean you have to find the heaviest weight and try and throw it around. You'll probably get hurt. The key is to find the right weight for you at your current fitness level. It's a perception. What feels heavy to you? That's lifting heavy. I see girls on Instagram that are around my body weight pulling 200-pound deadlifts. But if I tried that today, I'd probably pull out my back. If my goal is to lift a 200-pound deadlift, I can work towards that goal over time, but I have to start with my abilities today and build up to it. Lifting heavy does not mean lifting heavier than your current fitness level. Why lift heavy? Lifting heavy weights stimulates muscle growth to help you shape your body and lose fat. The more muscle tissue you have on your body, the more calories you burn at rest. That means more muscle gives you a higher metabolism. Muscle takes up less space in the body than fat, so you may end up weighing the same or more, but wearing a much smaller size. Ladies, don't worry. It's so hard to get big and bulky muscles that most of us don't have to worry about that at all. Those bodybuilding ladies you see in the magazine lift weights full time and may be taking steroids. You won't accidentally get too muscular. If you get to a point when you feel you're as muscular as you want to be, you can change your training so you don't gain new muscle. No problem. Form first. Before we talk about lifting heavy weights, we must master the movements with light or no weights. If you're performing a body weight squat with poor form, then adding heavy weights will only reinforce poor recruitment patterns and eventually lead to an injury. Get the movements down correctly first. Find a reputable coach, either in person, at the gym, or online, and get help to make sure your movements are correct before you start loading it with weights. You can watch videos on YouTube. Just make sure you're following someone with a good reputation as a strength coach. I see a ton of videos on the internet and social media with people performing exercises with incorrect form. It can help to film yourself and watch for poor movement patterns or imbalances. Sometimes it's hard to see in the mirror or feel it in the moment. It may take a little longer to master the movements before adding weight, but in the long run, you will be able to lift heavier weights with less risk of injury using proper form. How much weight? Different exercises will require different weights depending on the muscle being worked. The bicep curl is an isolation exercise of a small muscle, so you'll need a lighter weight than you would use in, say, a bent over row, which is a compound exercise, which means it uses multiple muscles. You would choose a much heavier weight for the rowing exercise because it works bigger muscles and multiple muscles at once. Make sense? It may take time experimenting at first, But that's the fun part. At least I think so. I advise my clients to choose a weight at first that they can lift for 12 repetitions. After 12 repetitions, if you feel like you could have easily done 5 more, that's a sign that you should increase the weight. It's too easy. Now, at the higher weight, fully rested, do the 12 repetition test again. If you can finish 12 repetitions with perfect form, but feel fatigued at the end of the repetition range, this is the weight at which you should begin your program for that exercise. Your effort level should feel at about an 8 out of 10. It should feel challenging, but achievable. Remember, it's all about individual effort. Once it feels easy or easier to complete the 12 repetitions, go up and weight again. If you do 8 repetitions at the heavier weight and then your form starts to fail, or you physically can't lift the weight another repetition, then make note of the number of repetitions with perfect form and slowly increase them back up to 12 repetitions over the next several weeks or months. Any deviation from proper form means your repetitions are complete for that set. Never use poor form to finish out a set. You will cause more harm than good. Repetitions with poor form don't count, so don't do them. The secret to gaining muscle is to continue to progress. People stall in their progress because they lift the same amount of weight for months on end, and the body adapts. Once your body adapts, it's time to progress, but don't push it. Too much, too soon can lead to injuries. Increase your weight only when you're ready based on the effort level of your current program. In other words, when it starts to feel easy, increase the weight to the next level. Rest. An important factor, often overlooked, is the rest after exercise. Our bodies adapt to exercise during the rest after we exercise, not during the exercise itself. That means if you don't rest, you won't allow your body the time it needs to repair and build the muscle tissue. Then, you won't see the results from all your hard effort in the gym. Allow at least 48 hours between sessions when you're lifting heavy weights in order to properly recover for best results. Lifting heavy is relative to your own fitness level. Whether it's 5 pounds, 15, 50, or 500, lifting heavy means lifting what's challenging for you. You just listened to the post titled, Lifting Heavy for Beginners and How to Determine the Proper Weight for You by Lea Genders of leagendersfitness.com. No one knows what you're looking for in a doctor better than you, and no one's better at giving you the tools to find the perfect doctor than Zocdoc. The people who created Zocdoc found the major pain points in healthcare, all the things that weren't working, and said, enough. And they made booking a great doctor surprisingly pain-free. I've seen the app, and they make it really easy to find a doctor because you can read up on local doctors, get verified patient reviews, and see what other real humans had to say about their visit. So when you walk into that doctor's office, you're set up to see someone in your network who gets you. Zocdoc is a free app that shows you doctors who are patient reviewed, take your insurance, and are available when you need them. Go to Zocdoc.com/OHD and download the Zocdoc app for free. Then start your search for a top-rated doctor today. Many are available within 24 hours. That's ZocDoc.com/OHD. Zocdoc.com/OHD. Dr. Neil here for my commentary. Lea's advice is very sound. You remember yesterday I was talking about how throughout my years of working out, I haven't had a serious injury? I believe that a lot of that is because I maintain proper form. I make sure that proper form is a habit. Now, if you've listened to this podcast for some time, you've probably heard me talk about injuries I've experienced. Luckily, these haven't been too serious. Like, I've had tendinitis in my left arm. I've strained some of my lower back muscles. In fact, I did that twice. I've had plantar fasciitis twice, but nothing beyond those. All of these injuries have healed within 2 weeks, if not sooner. But even so, you want to know what caused these injuries? They were caused by either 1, me overtraining, or 2, not using proper form. So as Lea said, get adequate rest, and if you want to lift heavier weights, increase the weight gradually and make sure when you do so, your form is perfect. It's not worth getting injured. You'll just end up having to start all over again. That's what I had to do. To me, that's much more frustrating than simply lifting a weight that's a little lighter with perfect form. All right, that'll do it for today. Thank you for being here. Thank you for listening every day. I hope you're having a wonderful week so far. A very happy May the 4th be with you, and I'll see you back here tomorrow where your optimal life awaits.